Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to show you how to install Honda K-Series detent springs. By the end of this guide you should be able to easily install these yourself. So this job should take you about 30 to 60 minutes. It normally depends on if you have to remove anything from the gearbox. For example, on this one we need to remove the engine mount. So we've used aftermarket detent springs in loads of our builds, and for the money they are just amazing. They're incredibly cheap. I mean, I think the speed factory one's currently at like £22 or something. Incredibly cheap, and they make a massive difference to transmission and shifting. So as you can see, the gearbox is already out the car for this installation, but even if it's in the car, it shouldn't really matter too much. There'll only be like engine mounts to remove, potentially an intake or a couple other bits. So as for the tools you're going to need for this, all you're going to need is a ratchet, extension bar, sockets. This one's to take the gearbox mount off, but we're going to need, I think it's over a 10 or a 12 mil to take the detent spring bolts out, torque wrench to torque them up afterwards, and the detent springs. So in this one we're going to use Speed Factory, but whether it's Speed Factory or Hybrid or anybody else who makes them, they're normally pretty good. The reason we're using Speed Factory in this one is because we already had them on the shelf, so it was nice and easy to do this video. Firstly, you're going to have to try and find the detent spring bolts. Depending on your gearbox, there's a few ways to do this. You can either find an exploded diagram of your specific gearbox online, ask someone who's done it before, or just get in touch with us and we can help you. In this situation, the three are underneath the engine mount here, so I'm just going to quickly take this bracket off and then we'll move forward. So you now need to remove anything that makes this difficult, such as the intake pipe, gearbox mount, battery tray or anything else. You just need enough room to be able to use a ratchet on the bolts to remove them. So you're going to want to start by removing one of the detent spring bolts. Just be careful not to lose anything, because if you do, then it might not potentially go back in gear and just cause you loads of problems. So I'm just going to take this out now. Once you've removed it, don't let anything fall into holes, this can affect the shifting. You're always better off doing all of these three individually, just to make sure that you don't lose anything, cross anything over, or make any mistakes. So I'm just going to take this one out now. So that is what the detent spring will look like. So there's actually a ball that goes on the end of here, but that is currently sat inside there. So you now want to open the new detent spring pack. Going to take all three out for this. I don't need to do this again. So there are the three detent springs that we've taken out. So this is the stock one. Flat down. So you can see the brand new ones are much longer. This is because it takes a lot more force to compress them, and this is what improves the shifting feel. So all you need to do is put it back inside the bolt. Put it in the hole, making sure that the ball actually does catch on it. Thread it up by hand. And then just tighten it until it's nipped up. So this one's actually come off with a washer as well. If there is a washer, just make sure it stays on there, because it has to sit at the perfect height. Just make sure you don't lose them. So anyway, I'm going to swap this spring out for the brand new one again. Put the new one back in. Make sure that it's definitely seated against the ball. That spring has now gone into oblivion, but anyway, here's the new one. Make sure that seats against the ball again. Right, so now all three are in there. All three are just hand tight, and I'm now going to get the torque wrench and torque them up. Always a car outside trying to ruin my video, every single time. So most of the Honda gearboxes are 16 foot-pounds. All three of those are 16 foot-pounds. Just double check that beforehand. The B and K series definitely are, so whatever gearbox you're trying to install this on, just make sure you double check that. The last thing we need to do are to torque the bolts up, and then we are all done. So we've got a torque wrench. I've just set that to 16 foot-pounds, and I'm going to quickly torque these up. Let me just move the camera around a little bit. So I'm just going to quickly torque these. So you just need to wait until you hear that click. just double check them just to make sure they are all definitely torqued. And that is it. So for the last step, all you need to do is install everything that you've removed earlier on, such as the intake, gearbox mount, or anything else. So I just want to say thanks again to Webby for letting me borrow the gearbox to make this video. Currently I've only got a B-series all-wheel drive box here that's sat on a pallet downstairs. So without him I would not have been able to make this. So thank you, Wiggins. So just double check that everything goes into gear correctly before you actually start driving it. Drive it around for a bit and then just double check the torque settings again to make sure nothing's moved. Normally though, if you've torqued it, it shouldn't cause you a problem at all. And you now have installed your brand new heavy duty shifter springs. So before I started filming this, I told Webby that I would give him back everything that I took out of the gearbox, and I can now not find one of the springs. There it is. Nice. So there we have it, the Detent spring install video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we're going to be making loads more how-to videos. Please let us know in the comments below if there's any other videos you want to see, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.